Welcome back, and moving on to our second segment for today, talking about Egypt's preparations for COP27 taking place next November in Sharm el-Sheikh. We have many meetings among entities and ministries preparing Sharm el-Sheikh as a green, sustainable city, talking about many procedures have been taken. So over the phone we have Dr. Mohamed Raouf, Professor of Environmental Economies. Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, sir. So first of all, talking about COP27, and how do you see the preparations taking place, harmonizing among different entities, different ministries preparing for COP27?
COP27 is a very important event globally. As we all know, that this is maybe the biggest gathering every year. It's expected that around 30,000 participants from various governments, international organizations, NGOs, to be attending the Climate Cup. Climate talks is very important because we want to accelerate global efforts to confront the climate crisis. The latest science shows that climate change is moving faster than we are. So it's pushing, pollution, our ecosystem and communities to their limit. So climate change is a very important event globally and for Egypt. For Egypt, it's very important because Egypt wants to align climate goals with its vision and development of 2030. It's a good opportunity to attract investment in green industries, green mobility, green technologies. So it's a very important event from economic, environmental point of view. And as a result, as you mentioned in the intro, Egypt is working very hard to give a model to the world that Sharm el-Sheikh is a green city from every aspect, from water, energy, food, hotels, transportation, you name it, any field. So we want to give a model that...
I would like to talk more about the preparations in Sharm el-Sheikh and how the hotels over there are working very hard. They're talking about even the marine centers, for example, and obtaining the green certificates as well. So we can actually see huge efforts taken in Sharm el-Sheikh.
Yes, exactly. Because as we said, this is a big gathering, a lot of consumption, and we want to give the world a model of a green city with low emissions. The main problem of climate change is emissions, especially GHG emissions and more specifically CO2 emissions. So tourism industry is responsible for a huge percentage of CO2 emissions. So there is a lot of things to be done in cities like Sharm el-Sheikh, where tourism is the main industry, hotels, diving centers, you name it. So there is a lot of effort ongoing in order to shift to electric cars. Electric cars almost zero emission compared to conventional fossil fuel vehicles. And this technology is there. It's something not new, so we can apply that. And it will help also to boost the renewable energy, especially from solar energy. So we can electrify our cars by a primary source coming from renewable energy. And the hotels also is working to get green certificates. This is very important. Gives them a good rating. Even if you are an individual and you want to go to a hotel, you worry a lot about hygiene, cleanness of the hotel, consumption, food waste. Different types of waste, they are recycled or not, energy conservation, environmental policies, because this will protect the city and the beauty of the city, the beaches and so on, for current and future generations. And as I said, Egypt is planning to give a model for the world that a green city like Sharm el-Sheikh, something very feasible and can help to combat climate change and reduce the CO2 emissions.
Cooperation among countries are very important when it comes to climate change, because one country can never face this challenge alone. So also during the recent visits or ongoing visits of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi to Europe, his visit to Germany, his visit to Serbia, there were talks also about COP27, especially in Germany, and we know that Germany achieved a lot in this respect.
Yes. Yes, of course. As we said, this is a global problem, and the whole world is working together. So we are not inventing the wheel. We are building upon Paris Agreement, last climate talks in Glasgow last year. Egypt is prioritizing and emphasizing that the next COP will focus on climate finance, especially climate finance for developing countries in order to help developing countries like most of the Arab countries and African countries to how to adapt to climate change and how to use these finance in order to promote green and new technologies to combat climate change and reduce emissions. There is a lot of business opportunities between countries, especially developed and developing countries, where countries like Germany, for instance, can export and can transfer various technology in various industries to African countries, to Egypt and African countries. So it's not a one-country show. Everybody is helping and working in various aspects. And climate change touches upon all aspects of life. You know, tourism sector is involved with agriculture, transportation, industry, oil and gas. So any field, you can find better ways in order to operate and reduce CO2 emissions, and we have a better quality of life for our current and future generations.
There must be a role as well, if you agree with me, for the civilians and NGOs, especially during this important event in Sharm el-Sheikh as well.
Yes, again, it's not only countries, because it's a big problem, a huge effort in almost all fields. So media plays an important role to spread the message, people's voices. Civil society organizations are a key component, important partner. The civil society play an important role in all fields, especially in environment. In environment, they do a lot of activities, simple ones, from beach cleaning to recycling activities, awareness activities. You know, providing different alternative policies and solutions to various environmental problems. They can help reduce the burden of the government. They complement the government work. They also monitor the activities on ground. They evaluate different projects. So they play an important role. They bring different aspects. Nowadays, for instance, we see globally an emerging movement of civil society focusing on citizen science, where a normal citizen can be aware of various environmental problems and how to combat them and how to deal with them. So there is a big room for civil society to play a role in COP27, and I hope that they are very well encouraged and involved in various activities. This will give also a good image that all partners, like media, science, civil society, play an important role in climate COPs, in climate talk.
Right. Dr. Mohamed Abdel Raouf, Professor of Environmental Economics, thank you very much for joining us. Right, and with this we come to the end of our breakfast show for today. Thank you all for joining us, and stay tuned for more coming up on Nile TV International.